Well, 2025 is here and already huge news in the AI world. A Chinese company called DeepSeek has released version 3 of its open source model. So not only did the benchmark show it's competitive with other models from OpenAI and Anthropic, it's also crazy cheap, especially right now when they're rolling it out. And what I've found is where DeepSeek version 3 really shines is around reasoning and software development. In this video, I'll show you how to use the DeepSeek API to not only build a business application, but also power it. And with DeepSeek being a Chinese company, there's some unique risks here. So I'll show you the best way to get the API keys, and then at the end I'll discuss some of those risks in more detail, so you know what you're getting into. And there's two ways I'll show you how to access DeepSeek version 3. The first one is just to go directly to the company website. And as I was saying, this is a Chinese company. I'd be a bit careful while giving any information to them. So I'd select login with Google here. And you might even want to go as far as using a secondary account. I've done some testing with DeepSeek for creative writing and text summary, that kind of use case. And it's only okay for that. But where I find it really excels is around reasoning, math, and coding. Let's start off with a simple one. Let's say create HTML quiz on recent American history. And generally the model is very fast, as you can see here. It also doesn't have limits on it. They give you unlimited access for free if you go through the website. So that's pretty good as well. And for simple applications, it lets you run HTML right in the browser. So that's kind of handy. I did a great job with this first try. And it looks like it works correctly. But it's a bit of a hassle to copy and paste out of here into your code editor. But we really want is an API key that we can use this model in agentic software development. And one option to do that is just if you go to the platform, I'll leave links to all this in the description of the video. You can actually top up here and use a model directly from DeepSeek. The only problem with that is, again, you have to give them your information. Even PayPal sends over your full name, which personally I don't really feel comfortable with. So I'll show you a different way to do it where you introduce a middleman that handles the billing. If you go over to OpenRouter, you see they support DeepSeek version 3. And if we look in there, it actually sends the traffic through DeepSeek directly. So it's basically going to the same place as the same price here. It's just now we go going through a middleman to get to DeepSeek. Now to get an API key to use this, you can just go API here, create API key, and create key. And then just copy that, we'll use that in a second. And the really nice thing is it actually gives you some free credits. So if you look here, I'm actually in the negative in credits. So I haven't actually even put my credit card or anything in yet. I think it's just a small amount of credits, like less than $1. But with a model this cheap, that is actually going to go a long way. And the best autonomous coding agent I've found to work right now with DeepSeek 3 is Cline. So if you look for the Cline extension in VS Code, you'll see it here, and it puts a new icon. And all you have to do is just go into your settings and then paste in that OpenRouter API key that we just took. And then for model, you want to say DeepSeek/DeepSeek-chat. So that's going to tell it to use that API key on that DeepSeek model. And this one is the version 3 model. So let's try it out. I just created a new folder. I put in here a couple of invoice files. These are just images. And what I'm going to ask Cline to do is build me a Python application that reads these invoices and then gets a data file extract of them and puts them in a processed folder. So if I go back to Cline, I'm going to put in the task, create Python app to iterate through invoice images in the inbound folder. And I'm going to say extract the text OCR, pass the extracted text to the large language model, DeepSeek version 3 via OpenRouter, and then ask for it to be formatted in a JSON structure, which is the data file that makes sense for this invoice. And then next we say save the result to a JSON file with the same name as the original invoice file name. So I want to kind of have a pair. I have the original invoice and then the actual data extracted from the invoice, and structured by AI in a way that makes sense. And then store that JSON file in the process folder. And then here's the actual code to connect to OpenRouter and then connect to DeepSeek. So then DeepSeek can actually break it down to several steps. And I find it really good, this kind of reasoning and logic. So Cline and DeepSeek spent about a minute or two on it. It cost less than half a cent. And it did give me this file in the end. So let's see if it works. And then, so now it looks like it's printing out some debug messages. It's actually reading the file and taking the data off there. So that's, I think, what you're seeing here. And then it called DeepSeek to actually structure it correctly into a JSON format. And it looks like it's successful. So it's got two JSON files here. Let's open that up. And that looks actually really good. It's got the right company name. Looks like all the data is correct here. And then if we look at invoice 2, same thing. Yeah. So worked first try. I mean, this isn't the most complicated application you could build, but I'm still super impressed with the speed, the quality, but most importantly, the cost. It's just so cheap. The company does say they're going to raise the rates, basically double them in early February of 2025. So it is kind of an introductory rate, maybe a loss leader for them. But even a double rate is still pretty cheap. And in terms of the risks, a big AI company like this I think this is going to become, basically is a very blurry line between that and a state-owned corporation. They're kind of one and the same. The Chinese government will basically see all the data that that company gets. And you can already see this in the model. So if you ask DeepSeek a question about democracy in China or Tiananmen Square or the treatment of the Uyghur Muslims, it'll basically give you Chinese government propaganda back. Now, personally, I'm not going to be using the model to research Chinese politics or anything because I don't really care. But at the same time, it is a very slippery slope. I think the most important thing is be careful with any kind of proprietary data, like customer data or personal data. I wouldn't put it through DeepSeek. But it's great for things like I'm doing today that, building applications or just doing some code that's not anything proprietary. I think it's perfect for that. And the positive thing is I think it'll be a kind of an anchor on prices. It'll keep them competitive. Similar to how Chinese electronics would come in and keep the price of TVs down. I think you're going to see the same kind of thing with AI. And this DeepSeek will be a big leader in that. I hope you enjoyed the video and are having a good day. I'll talk to you in the next one.